In conclusion, we will be presenting Perry NG in Semi-Centennial.
It's Wednesday, February 10th, 2010. Today is my 50th birthday, and I'm celebrating it in a room full of strangers. Interesting and creative though you may be, you are strangers nonetheless. So this feels like a comfortable and fitting metaphor for me. After all, there's 6.7 billion human beings on the face of the earth, and in a crowd like that, how can you not feel like a stranger? But it's my 50th birthday, and I'm given pause to reflect. After spending half a century pursuing multifarious endeavors, should I not by now have something of value to share? Have I gained any wisdom? Have I begun to answer any of the big questions, like, what am I? I've already been so many things to so many people, I can only imagine what I might become next. The only thing I'm fairly sure of is that the future will almost certainly look nothing like the past. When I was a kid in grade school, and I began to realize I had a proclivity for mathematics, as I was learning to solve equations, I encountered the concept of how many places can you carry in your head? Now, even at a young age, I saw through the obvious application, getting answers to math problems, to what that was really saying to me, which was the more places I could carry in my head, the bigger the questions I could tackle, and that it applies to everything. So I quit going out to recess, and I started reading the encyclopedia. Since that time, I have been, among other things, and with varying degrees of results, an architect, a designer, a builder, an electrician, a plumber, a farmer, a forest ranger, a motocross racer, a yogi, a quixotic Don Juanian seducer, an adulterer, a husband twice, a divorcee twice, a factory worker, corporate executive, musician, performer, an alchemist. I was even taught to castrate hogs and decapitate buffalo. And I know what it's like to want to spill my own guts. But whenever asked, I've always simply said, I'm an artist. And I mean that in the classical sense, where the artist is seen as an impersonal medium through which the muse and the gods communicate, as opposed to the modern version, where the artist is seen as a vehicle of self-expression, who's laid open for criticism not only for lack of craft, but for simply being who they are. Like when one of the great loves of my life, Fatima, a Cypriot goddess, she said to me, Perry, you're the most self-absorbed person I've ever met. All I could tell her was, you'd be self-absorbed too, if your life was as interesting as mine. Now, that's one thing I have learned, and I do definitely advise. Have an interesting life. Go out, get into the right kind of trouble. Because boundaries are where things get interesting. So go test them. Now, I'm not a religious man, but I was intrigued when one of my past bisexual lovers, she's also turning 50. She told me of the Christian concept of the Jubilee. It's a tradition that dates back to February in the year 1300. It's their recognition of the 50-year cycle. It's a special time when one's debts are erased, prisoners and slaves are free, and one's sins are liberally forgiven. That was the part that interested me. Not that I believe in sins per se, but of the seven deadly, all of which I'm not unfamiliar with, the one that concerns me is sloth. Sloth. The failure to use one's innate gifts and talents. Now, I am a Mercury in Pisces, exactly conjunct natal midheaven Aquarius, born in the year of the rat. If ever there was a cosmic formula for someone who's destined to miss out on the opportunity to seize their own unique excellence because of being distracted by multidimensional intrigues elsewhere, Carl Jung put it this way: creative mind loves to play with the objects of its desire. Now, I always figured that just described or explained to me why I was comfortable being everything from, oh, I don't know, simply easily distracted all the way through to being polyamorous. But hey, good luck with all of that out there in the real world, buddy. I mean, I can't even make a business card or fill out a job application without coming off sounding like a marginal survivor of multiple personality disorders. But that's okay with me. I like being an amateur. You know, an amateur. Someone who is in love with everything. So I intend to remain committed to the big questions. Because at 50, I'm still filled with enthusiasm. You know, entheotism. To be filled with the spirits of the gods. In light of all the things I've ever been, and all the things that I can imagine ever becoming, I know there's something else inside me, besides myself. Now, I would like to share with you my 50th birthday wish. Beloved Pan and all ye other gods who haunt this body, grant me a beautiful soul, and let the outward man and the inward man be one.